Greetings, Una D here from O2 Energy Evolution, and I wanted to start sharing some of my awakening experiences because they're really cool, and I don't think oftentimes people realize what their interactions or their coincidences or the universal messages that are coming to people and how they're showing them who they are. And that's really what the Great Awakening is, more than understanding what's going on in the world, is understanding who you are. And it's cool, not to say I know completely, but every little key, every little hint, every little clue is bringing me closer to the power that I possess. So I just wanted to share a cool story that happened to me. At least it's cool to me. An awakening story. I'll share more at some other point. I like to keep my videos quick. I went to visit upstate New York, close to Woodstock, sometime last year. And we stopped at a metaphysical store in, I don't know what the town was. Anyway, it was a quaint little 2-story home, Victorian-like, and I don't remember the color. It might have been funky, not funky, but I don't remember. But so I walk in the stores, there's a bunch of different rooms. It's a Victorian home. I go back towards where the crystals are, because that's my thing. I enjoy crystals. And you couldn't touch the crystals. So my favorite crystal store, I've been to crystal stores from the West Coast to the East Coast. And so far, my favorite crystal store is right here in Milwaukee because you can touch the stones, the tumble stones. I like to get the energy from them before I pick them. And I'm not saying you couldn't touch the stones there, but there was a case and I just want to touch it. I don't want to ask you, can I touch your stones? But I get it, because you don't want people to put stuff in the pocket, blah, blah. I have a tendency to get off track. So instead of looking at the stones, I asked the woman behind the counter about tarot cards. I do not read tarot. I am not a tarot reader. I enjoy a few tarot readers, and I do see the power of the messages that they can give. But I just asked about the tarot cards because they're kind of interesting, and I couldn't look at the stones the way I wanted to. So as I'm talking to the person behind the counter about the tarot deck, and I'm telling her, where I am, and this would be my first deck, and what would you recommend? She comes from behind the counter, she walks up to this display, and she picks this up. It is the artist of the Rider-Waite Tarot Deck commemorative set, Pamela Coleman Smith. And I always forget her name is Pamela Coleman Smith because I refer to her as Pixie. So Pamela Coleman Smith is the illustrator of these cards. So the woman is sitting here and she starts looking at the cards and she starts explaining the cards. And I'm like, oh, you're like sold. Anyway, but no, I wasn't going to buy it because I was like, I didn't even want to spend that kind of money. And she starts explaining Pixie, Pamela Coleman Smith, to me, who was a mixed breed Jamaican and English illustrator. She's the illustrator of the tarot deck. And she's telling me her story is quite interesting. And I'm like, I think she's my spirit guide. And the woman looked at me, and her hair on her arm raised up, and she said, and she takes me back and she shows me a picture of Pamela Coleman Smith. I shall call her Pixie, and she looks like she could be part of my family. And I said, again, I think I just got introduced to my spirit guide. And again, the hairs on the woman's arm, this time I saw them, the last time she just did like this, but they were standing straight up, and the woman got so excited. So I bought the deck, and the woman threw in a little bag that she made. I forget her name. It might have been Diane. I forget the name of the store too. It's a shame. It's a beautiful store in upstate New York. And she gave me this and the little cloth to lay your card, read the cards on. I don't really read them. I mean, occasionally I'll play with them, but I'm not a tarot reader. But I do understand that Pixie, the half-breed illustrator of tarot cards, is my spirit guide and possibly an ancestor. So that's just a cool little story because these little things happen to you. Oh, one more thing. The lady who was behind the counter was the owner, and the cashier stepped away for a bathroom break when I walked in the store. So the lady was only up there for like less than 5 minutes. So I know through clear universal energy that that divine moment was meant for me. It's a whole beautiful trip to upstate New York, but that was the beginning of it. I met Pixie, my spirit guide, and I'm starting to understand who I am. Have a wonderful day.